Welcome everyone to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene, where we serve the hottest tea. Join me and my baby stripper voice.
And me welcoming you all to eavesdrop onto our uncensored opinions. This platform is used to inform, laugh, and potentially inspire others to speak out about things we may all be thinking about but are too afraid to say out loud.
And don't forget, babes, if the shoe fits, wear it. All right, guys, welcome back to Spilling the Tea with Estee.
And Marlene.
We have a very special episode today with a very special guest.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Please elaborate.
Oh, okay. So, first off, welcome back, everybody. I know it's been some time. We took some necessary break and necessary. If you see us a little different, mind your business.
We got lipos.
Did not get lipo. We took in some time to take care of ourselves. As you can see, we looking good. But either way, the climate, as obviously we're in this horrible orange troll era. And so this climate has called for a special episode. There have been a lot of ignorant comments, and if anybody doesn't know, but now you know, my thinking spot in my home is the shower. And this is where I create a lot of my ideas, creative ideas. So it came to my mind that I have so many resources around me with the legal background. And so I spoke to my friend Daysi, and she is amazing in her immigration field. And so we have her here as our guest to put some facts into the motherfucking world, because I'm over it.
Yeah, this is a serious episode. Like, we're not talking about, like, hot girl summer, blowjobs.
No.
This is serious.
Yes. Anything else you want to get off your mind that's not serious before we get serious?
No. Well, after you told me that this was your idea, and I said, okay, sure. And then I went to Charleston. Oh. Well, let me say that. I went to Charleston for a business trip, and I just encountered
Oh, yes.
a
You
lot.
could say that story.
I encountered a lot of people that need to be educated. The story is that I was having a drink at my hotel bar. A guy came up to me, and he was like, "Oh, can I buy you a drink?" And I said, "You know what? Sure." Buys me a glass of wine. I forget these drinks come with strings attached. He had to sit next to me, speak to me.
Of course.
I was hoping that he would like pay for it and just bounce, but
No.
shit doesn't work out that way. So he starts talking to me. He asked me like, what do I think of Charleston? And I just felt like, like it's nice, but I'm from New York. Like, I'm not super impressed by a lot of stuff. Like, but whatever. And then he mentioned, there's a lot of Republicans. Can we say Republicans?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Republicans.
I'm like, why not?
Out there or down there. And I said, yeah, I mean, yeah. And then he said that he was not a Republican. He was a Democrat. And I said, okay, like.
But I wonder why he initially just said, you're from New York, let me just say that I'm a Democrat. That's funny.
I think he knows that, like, the whiteys, the Caucasians are usually affiliated with Republicans. He wanted to get that off the field right away.
Yeah.
Conversation kept rolling, and then he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "I am Colombian, but I live in New York." I said, "I moved to New York when I was like 5 years old." And he said, "Oh, like just make sure you have all your paperwork in order, because you don't want to have any troubles." And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, not every Latin person is illegal here." And he was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. And I said, no, but you need to know that there are Latin people who are also American citizens. Like, you shouldn't lump everybody together. And then it got awkward. I finished my glass of wine and I went upstairs.
I think you handled it with a lot of class in a way that you were educating him. I just feel like some people live in their bubble and they automatically they don't understand that there's other possibilities and not everybody's here illegally. So it's just, and you were just minding your business.
Minding my business.
And this came to you.
This came to me.
How do you feel about that?
I understand he didn't mean any harm by it. He was trying to be helpful, but he was white people helpful.
I like
So
that.
like I don't think he was like saying anything like racial. I just think he was extremely ignorant.
Yes.
Um, but we see that a lot. Like people just being ignorant and non-intentional microaggressive because they just don't know any better.
Yeah, I feel like that was an instance of that. It's just sad. And I also feel like people can say whatever they want because we have a person that may
Who says whatever they want,
and has
grabs
no
them by the pussy.
consequences. I feel like we have been normalized with all the bullshit that's been going on. I feel like I'm in a mental whiplash every 2 weeks from the news. So it's just a lot.
I feel like I'm in Black Mirror.
Can you explain that for people that don't watch Black Mirror?
Um, it's a TV show about like what, like not possibilities, like different
Extreme.
extreme. Watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. we're in a life
Watch it.
we're in a world where extremes actually come true.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I was like, you know what? Yes, we need to talk about this because, sir,
We
he
yeah.
was just. It got awkward, and I just ended up leaving.
I think that's the best thing you could have done for yourself. You were not gonna want no YTD.
No, and even that, like, if it would have been a fun conversation that I could have gotten something out of it, like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But once he started saying all that stuff, I was like, I just don't think we align, and I'm just gonna go back to my room and go to sleep and get the fuck out of Charleston.
You even took an earlier flight, I remember.
I did.
So before we get into our topic, we just want to address a few things. So this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the last episode, but it's going to be the last episode with me in it. I want to thank you for giving me a platform and to giving me the confidence for creativity because I feel like I have a lot more passion when it comes to creatives. And I feel like in this time that we're living in right now, my creative ideas and putting action behind them is going to save my mental health.
Yeah.
So that's my advice for anybody that's listening.
Yeah, so you're graduating. We're not breaking up.
We're not breaking
You're
up.
graduating into your own field.
Yeah, my own lane where I will be exploring different things. I have a few ideas. But yeah, thank you for giving me the confidence and the platform. And this is a great advice for anybody that's struggling mentally. Do something for yourself that's creative, that brings you peace. Sometimes I'm at work and I color. My grown people with curse words coloring books as I work. So this is a very trying time that mentally is going to exasperate us. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add?
No. Well, thank you for being part of this.
Of course.
I don't know what I'm gonna do after. I'm gonna heal from this lipo. um, and then we'll see.
We'll see what comes.
You're definitely gonna see me around. I just don't know in what way.
Yeah. So we can get into our topic.
And welcome our guest, Daysi.
And I welcome our guest, Daysi. Well, guys, we have here Daysi. So we're gonna give you an opportunity to tell a little bit about your background. What do you do, so people don't think that you're unqualified? But yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. First off, Daysi's always invited to all of my holiday parties. So if you're invited to my home, I trust you enough with my aura. Just enough said.
My name is Daysi. I am a paralegal in a law firm. I've been doing this for now going on 7 years. And before that, I just did like domestic violence work, which led me into my immigration career.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 7 years. So you can say confidently that you know all the stages of when a person comes in undocumented to a person like getting their citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's throughout the whole thing. So I'll ask you, because I know you personally, like, what is the most rewarding story or rewarding moment that you can think of with a client?
Um, there was this one client, I would never forget her. She was the sweetest, sweetest, sweetest woman. Just experienced so much throughout her life, just getting here. And just within like 2 weeks of being in the country, like she had family here, she had her support. However, she was very young. She came, she met someone, and this man, like much older, just groomed her and just like, and she was like under 18 at that point. Completely groomed her and, just kind of allowed her to accept.
What's given?
Yeah, and there was a lot of abuse happening. And I remember like looking at her and I'm just like, she was still so young when she like we made that
Impressionable.
encounter and stuff, and like helping her through that process because she didn't know like what her resources were, her benefit, like what she could be applying for. And once we spoke with her, we were like, yes, you're qualified for a VAWA. So a VAWA is when you get married to a U.S. citizen or a naturalized citizen, and then you get married. There's domestic violence, and then you basically you don't have to report it, but obviously like more
More documentation is a stronger
yeah,
case.
yeah, absolutely. We had her report. We gave her like a complete like a domestic violence assessment and let her know what her rights, what she should be doing. And yeah, she did everything. Like she was completely like trusting us, and it was just really nice walking her through that like process of getting help and also saying like you also have this immigration benefit that you can apply for. And yeah, she did all that, and by the time like maybe like 4 years in, I was able to see her like want to apply and then to be a resident, like get her residency.
4 years.
Yeah,
You
and
know
that was
what? You know why I'm like having such an emphasis on that? Because it's bringing me back to the quote of like just become a citizen or just come here legal. And it
yeah,
took her 4 years after actually trusting somebody, people that she just met,
yeah,
to go through that process to get then her residency.
yeah. And
It's crazy.
it was a very long time, and she knew it was going to be a long time. It's a conversation we have with every client that we encounter. Of course, like every case is different, everything is different. Um, but with her, it was like it was really nice being able to be the person to tell her, like to give her green card and be like, here, like that here it is, like
Yeah.
you're okay now. And she hugged me. She was sobbing, like in our waiting area. She was sobbing, and I tried my best to like hold it
Hold it in.
together because like at the end of the day, like of course, like I want to show her I'm human. Like I care for what I'm doing. I care for her. But at the same time, she is trusting me with her emotions at that moment. So like, but once she left and that door closed, I sobbed. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like boohoo crying.
Yeah. I mean, that's really rewarding.
Of
Like,
course.
um, would you say that your experience in the last year has not maybe not been, you haven't had so many stories that are rewarding? Would you say that like your career at the very moment is very stressful?
Absolutely. I worked through Trump's
Term.
first term, yeah. Um, and of course, like there was so much. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There was
I'm
so
like,
much
girl, we do what we want. This is us.
there was so much bullshit happening, but like it was mostly targeted to, um, like the lawyers, the paralegals. Like it was focused on them and like how can we make their lives more difficult. And of course like there was other things like for example the travel ban that happened so suddenly, and people from sorry if I'm from Afghanistan I believe,
Yeah.
mid-flight had to be like what
Middle Eastern, yeah.
yeah, like what the fuck is happening. um so of course we had that, but other than that it wasn't.
So in the first term, you saw that there was more protocols and more obstacles for the lawyers and the
Yeah,
paralegal and basically like the judicial process.
yeah,
But now this term, you're seeing,
it's like a direct attack against people.
yeah,
And we're seeing what's happening, for example, in Minnesota, in Washington D.C., and like there's so many things happening in Florida, for example, like in
Florida's a
those
big one.
in those states, like it's just so much shit happening that one I knew coming into this next term that it was gonna be a shit show. We just didn't predict any of this was gonna happen with ICE.
Yeah. And I was saying the other day that, well, my social media right now it's been kind of muted. Like my social media with everything going on, like people, I saw something like, oh, is ICE still arresting people? And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
It's just that they're not publicating it. And because now they have access to like the apps we use, they're basically muting what's
Yeah.
actually going on.
Yeah.
The other day I walked by the immigration court and it was just like somber.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so annoying. And I just walked by it and I'm just like,
Yeah.
it brings up so emotions, like a building that used to be a representation of a person receiving like a happiness of like getting freedom or like being here documented.
Or not even that. It's also showing that people are doing their due diligence to follow the legal system. And people think like, yeah, like if you are showing up to court, to your hearings, like that's you're doing what they're saying the right thing.
Yeah.
You're showing up, you're presenting yourself. While in previous years, many people were not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's when I speak to people and like I like have conversations of like, well, obviously a lot of people know my field and like know what I do. So they try to bring that conversation up and they're like, oh, it's horrible what's happening in Minnesota. It's horrible. And which it is, absolutely. But many people do not know what's happening here in New York.
Which is like in your backyard.
Exactly.
Like people don't know that ICE is showing up to immigration court
Every day. Yeah.
every day right at the, I want to say sala, but it's not sala.
The
Right
elevator
into the
doors,
elevator.
yeah.
And you are doing your due diligence to go in and report yourself because that is something that you have to do as a
Yeah.
person that's going through the process.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, well, we're going to take advantage of this moment and just put you into the system, take you. And that's what's actually happening at this
Yes.
very moment. And before, I feel like it was reported on more, but I don't see as much reporting as
No.
much.
So like, I also, with my social media, I try to not, my algorithm to like
Yeah.
not like focus on that because I do it at work. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
everything that's happening and it's just for
need
my
a
mental
break.
health. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people don't know that everything that's was happening 2 months ago in Minnesota is still happening to this day. A lot of people don't know that in Florida, they have ICE has like traffic stops, like asking people, show me your documents, and it's happening everywhere in Florida. And like not many people know that because
Yeah.
it's not being broadcasted.
And then the thing is that before they needed to have like some type of proof for them to ask you these questions or like they need to have like something that leads them to that. But now it's just plain like, oh, you look like a person that may not have papers or may not be legal here. So I'm going to just ask you.
Yeah, and the US government, they made it legal for people to do that, to target you because you look like someone that may, or you speak a different language that's not English, and it's okay to ask you these questions.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm annoyed.
I'm gonna say something from the background.
Okay, but come here. I'm like, but you need to come here and say it on the mic.
Oh, that was fun. So what I've noticed is that a lot of
Top of me.
there's no fit. What I noticed with a lot of people with a lot of things with ICE is that everything is targeted in racism because they're not stopping someone who might be European, an immigrant, but has blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Versus like someone who looks Latin. Like they're gonna target them versus like someone that looks like our president.
Yeah.
So that racism also plays part into it because they're not sending people back from like Ukraine.
Yeah.
They're sending Latin Americans back.
Yeah, I would like to see the statistics on those that are being targeted and put into these centers, to see like what is the statistic of European person compared to like Latin,
Yeah.
Hispanic people,
And I don't,
African, yeah.
the thing is, like, I don't think we'll ever get those statistics because, like, it's in their benefit to not disclose those, those statistics and those numbers.
Yeah.
And to be honest, right now, I feel like everybody's a target, no matter the color of their skin. Everyone that entered within a time between like that have recently arrived, they are a target no matter what, because now, like, if you get anything, like you get a small misdemeanor, you're being targeted. They're either, if you show up in court, you're at home, you're at work, they're going to, they want the numbers.
Yeah, they want the numbers so they can say like, oh, like our goal was to get people out and this is what we're doing, but they're not really like going into details of those people that they are arresting.
Yeah.
Mind you, they're arresting citizens.
Yeah.
They're arresting citizens. They put them through a very long process of questioning and all these other things, and then they let them go wherever. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard stories of being just left wherever, and you got to figure out how to get there.
Yeah, there was this young girl that was detained for about, I believe, like 2-3 months, U.S. citizen, and she's showing everything. Her family's doing everything. She has a lawyer that was like guiding her through that, and she just fit the profile of someone that should have been detained, and she was detained for some time, and like now she's being released, but like just because she fit what a person that they believe should be out of this country, she was detained for 3 months.
But it also makes me think, what makes a person, sorry to say, but what makes a person have the privilege to say you belong here and you don't? We've been on a soil that has been stolen centuries ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like one person is not more qualified than the next. I also feel like there's a big, like, with the whole like thing with Minnesota, I forgot the guy, Perry, that he was shot. What we're giving these people that are unqualified guns,
Yeah.
and we already have a gun problem,
Yeah.
to basically say your life is not worthy. You are causing a menace to my goal of arresting people, and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
I feel like we're living in a shit show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we're living like in the show Paradise.
Yeah.
That where like some crazy shit is gonna happen, and that might be able to like stop the current events that's going on right now. But I think the comment that really led me to this episode was somebody had asked someone I know, what makes a person legal. So so they were asking about a person that had a green card status, and they were questioning if they were even legal here. And I was just like, the person, under what I know, is a person is going through a legal process to get a green card.
Yeah.
So to me, it is illegal. The person is here legally. So can you just explain to people that may be ignorant about the facts of what makes what are the ways a person can become a citizen, and then what is the process?
So that's like
a loaded question.
A loaded question, yeah,
Yeah.
because like when it's every person's case will be different, no matter if you're applying for the same thing, same situation, getting married, a humanitarian visa, like every case is different. And like it's just one, you have to speak to an attorney, no matter what. Something that I always like now, that I speak with clients with, is like assuring that the person that you are working with is an actual attorney, and doing your part and researching.
Yeah.
And researching is Googling the attorney. There's a website where you can find whoever's an attorney. You can find their bar number, their whole information, where they work.
We'll link it.
And there's a lot of notarios that like are saying, yeah, like I can do X, Y, and Z. In reality, that's not what they're doing. They're just causing more damage. You're just flagging yourself to immigration. And of course, like that's intentional, like that is what you want, but you also don't want to do it if you have if you have no benefit at the moment, which is the case for a lot of undocumented people in the US right now.
So you're seeing a lot of people trusting into people that, oh, I'm an attorney, I can help you get through the process or fill out your paperwork.
Yeah.
And then things aren't done properly. They don't have the background. They aren't a licensed attorney. And then they're basically like flagging themselves to ICE or to like, you know, to the Department of Immigration? Yes, the Department of Immigration. And they're basically like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And they're not actually like applying for like the visas or applying for a green card or applying, you know, through other.
Sometimes they don't even apply for anything.
They're just taking their money.
Yeah, and they'll say like they'll give you a receipt, or like I've seen like photoshopped like immigration like documents.
Get the fuck out.
I've seen people like thinking that they're meeting with an immigration judge, but when we're looking at it, we're like, this is not how it's supposed to look like. It's literally just them like with the background of like the USCIS logo, and we're like, no, that's not. And like this person was actually smart enough to like take a screenshot of like, yeah, like look, I presented myself. Like I was in front of it and they told me I benefit X, Y, and Z. And we're like, no, like that's, I'm like, well, who did you send this payment to? And we're looking at it and it wasn't even like a US phone number.
Get the fuck out. This is information. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because that's hard.
Yeah. And like something that, you know, I try my best to like, with my screenings and my intakes, like I try my best to like let them know, like, yes, you have the option of like seeking a private attorney, but make sure that you are
speaking to an attorney.
And you're doing your research, and always like before you submit any payment, you have a signed retainer. So you have proof like, okay, I made this payment so you can do X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z will be done. But, you know, unfortunately, like that's not the case that's been happening.
That's crazy. People are taking advantage of people that are hopeless.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find some type of hope. Yeah. And they're basically getting scammed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the legal ways of applying to be legal here, or like legal here, or like to get some type of status, like that you're not undocumented?
I mean, it's a difficult question because so like one way is marriage.
Yeah, through marriage.
Yeah.
Marrying an American
citizen, or like a naturalized or like a green card holder.
Okay.
That is like technically one of the easiest ways, or like, you know, you have
there's visas.
There's humanitarian visas, yeah, that you can apply for. But just right now, those visas are very like complicated at the moment, just because, yes, limited is so for example, a U visa, you're looking at maybe 8 years, maybe longer, depending on like how the process is going that you are waiting. But at this moment, like they're kind of being targeted because it's like it's a benefit, and this president doesn't want doesn't want any benefits. But just speak with an attorney and make sure that you are getting what benefits you at the moment. Those two.
Because I'm thinking of like people that came here undocumented, like they crossed the border, and they're just sold the dream, like the administration before. They're like, oh yeah, like the borders are open, come through, and then they're here, and then they're, they may get help like through the shelter system,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, okay, but I want to like now start my legal process.
Yeah.
And then they sit with you, or they sit with an attorney, and they're like, oh, I came here undocumented. A lot of these people would try to do the visas,
Mm-hmm.
saying that there's some type of danger,
Oh, so asylum.
the asylum.
Yeah.
You see a lot of those, but people don't really like look into like what are the requirements for an asylum before making that drastic
Mm-hmm.
decision to do all
Yeah.
these things.
So asylum, you have to apply before your 1 year of being in this
Being here.
country.
Okay.
You have to apply. Like that's one of the biggest things that people
No.
don't know, and like something that we always encounter. Obviously, there's ways to get around it, but it just makes your case more difficult. So applying within your 1 year, it's the best option for you, and especially if you have a case. With asylum, you need to prove extraordinary circumstances of the reasons why you left. It could be violence, persecution.
Extreme
Yeah,
circumstances.
yeah, exactly. So it's like you have to build your case, and it depends. Like if you entered the border and like you were stopped, for example, and you have a notice that you have to appear to court, your case will start at court. However, if you came in, for example, with a visa, or you were paroled in, which parole is not available anymore, but if you came in, you had a visa, came in through, you had a plane right here, basically, and you decided to stay, you had a tourist visa, you decided to stay. That one you'll be sent to the USCIS offices where you'll be interviewed by an officer. And you have that process of like, it's a long day that you have that process, but even that right now, the people that are newly coming, they're getting interviews right away. However, people that applied, for example, 6, 7 years ago, they're still waiting. So it's like, it's kind of difficult to say.
But why are they seeing the people that I just came in opposed to the people that have been here for a while?
So they have oh, I can't remember. So basically, the people that came in from 2023 beyond, they're,
It's okay.
I can't remember, there's a term. So basically, they want to remove everybody that came after those years.
From 2023
Yeah.
to present.
Yes.
Okay.
They have, I literally repeat it every single day at work.
It's okay. But the goal is to remove those that are coming in 2023. So that's why they're getting faster interviews, because they're basically like, we're going to target this group to get people out.
Yeah.
And we're going to give those, we're not really focused on the ones that have been here before.
Yeah. I can't remember the name. But so basically, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They want everybody that's recently arrived to be deported or find some sort of benefit immediately. And that's why they're getting those interviews first. But like even in the interviews, if you get a denial, you're being sent to court afterwards. So it's like a second option, which is kind of like, you have a second chance.
Yeah.
But still, it's kind of like a win or lose thing.
Okay. Is there anything you want people to know, to leave here about immigration at the moment?
It's just really hard times right now. And I think it's the best right now to have some sort of communities, like find your people and not even just look out if, for others that are just struggling right now. Especially those that are like in the undocumented community. There's a lot of fear that, especially in New York, we have never seen. Well, they have not seen, not never, but we have not seen in a very long time.
And that's due to New York being a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
And now because we're being targeted because we are sanctuary cities.
Yes. Even though we are not seeing ICE, for example, and I hate to bring Minnesota back, but like,
Yeah.
we're not seeing how it is over there. They are still here in the streets. They are stopping people. They are asking people like, show me your documents. And these are not just, they're not targeting a single person. Like they're walking like right on Fordham, like saying, show me your documents. They don't have anything. Let's go. And no criminal record, nothing. Like they're fine. They're just taking them.
And what would you say? Would you say like for people to carry their documents on them to show that they are here legally or they have some stance?
Yes.
Yeah.
The best thing is,
What is a proper document?
What is the proper documentation?
so for people that are that have status that are U.S. citizens, like walk around with your passport, walk around with your New York State ID. That's very important to have, especially if you have a real ID. That's very important at this moment. And people that are undocumented at this point. If you have the chance to apply for a real ID, it's very important to do so.
Okay.
But even so, even if you don't have that, just a regular New York State ID, just showing like, your regular information,
Then that's
like
helpful.
it's helpful. Do not walk around with your passport if you do not have a U.S. passport.
Okay. If I stops a person, what would you say is like their first instinct to like respond if they're coming at them like, oh, like let me see your documents?
I mean, for me, that's a very difficult question, just
Yeah.
because like you mentioned earlier, like these people are not, they're
not
not
reasonable.
qualified.
Yeah.
They're not qualified for this job. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And,
Say it louder.
And like I wouldn't want to tell somebody to run,
Yeah.
because like we don't know the harm that they would
yeah.
cause. And so it's like something that I would say is like, you can ask like, who are you looking for? And if it's not you, just try to walk away.
Well, because they don't have really any type of legal authority to basically be like, here. It's not like NYPD that they can potentially arrest you.
Yeah.
So they don't have that power. So potentially, if they're not looking for Marlene Ureña, they're looking for Maria. I can be like, that's not me, and just potentially just skedaddle.
One has more rights in public spaces, like outside, like than you have in immigration court, for example.
Okay.
In immigration court, it's okay for them to ask you X, Y, and Z. But outside, you are able to walk away. You are in a public space. Now, you also have to think about your safety and like
what can entail from that.
Exactly.
Okay. And then to wrap it up, what led you to this work and why is it meaningful for you?
I have one, doing domestic violence work was something that I was passionate about, something that I truly wanted to do, but I felt like I wasn't doing enough just being
an advocate,
a case manager. Yeah. I felt like I had to do more. And going into immigration, I was able to not just immigration, I just wanted to do something legal. And immigration just happened to be the thing. I was able to further assist people in a way that one made me happy about what I'm doing.
Okay.
And also like I have family that are going through the immigration system, and like there's sometimes that I'm able to help. I'm able to be an advocate for them. And now, especially when I have a notice of something happening, like I'm able to be like, hey, like this X, Y, and Z is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I think it was really helpful information regarding scams, regarding perception of people thinking that you can just easily become a citizen, and the work that you do. And thank you for doing that hard work, because I know it's not easy. I know it's like an orbit around you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be overwhelming. So we
I'm in
appreciate
therapy,
you.
so yeah.
Yeah, we support therapy. I love it. But thank you, everybody. We're gonna try to link the website to see if a attorney is actually an attorney.
Yeah.
That's a lot of. I agree with you 100%. We don't do the same line of work, but I tell people all the time, you're just saying you need an attorney, but you need a qualified attorney in the
Exactly.
field that you're looking for.
Yeah. There's scammers out there, so we gotta be careful.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for listening to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene.
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform. Bye, guys.